Well, all right, all right. Shalom, shalom. Yasha Allah. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom, shalom to everyone out there. Shalom. I'm going to try to make this real brief, right? So, as you know, this is the evening of Shabbat, which is also known as the Day of Rest, right? The seventh day of the Hebraic week. Also, this is the Pasach, Chag, Matzah, which is in Latin English, the Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread, right? So as you can see here, this is the full moon and her full circumference as according to scripture. So as you should know, during this time when the moon is like this, in her full circumference, this is the 14th and 15th day of the Hebraic month, right? So during this time, in which some brothers and sisters, they may consider this evening the first month of the Hebraic year. Now, me personally, this is the second month of the Hebraic year because the new year falls in the month of March, mid-March, going into April. Okay, now, according to this date and time, it's in the middle of April, going into May. All right, this is after the second new moon of the Hebraic year. Okay, in which was in late March, going into April. Okay, so that marked the beginning of the second month. I'm trying to keep it quiet here because, it's quiet where I'm in, so I'm not trying to disturb the peace or whatever. However, as I was saying, to me, this is the beginning of the second month and in the middle of the second month during the 14th and 15th days, right? And the reason why I say that, as I've said, because the full moon is in the sky, right? The full moon is the governor over the night sky, as is written in scripture. Okay, so this is the 14th and 15th days, right? 14th day at evening and the 15th day as the starting of the 15th day going into the sunrise, into the sunset of the 15th day, which is going to be on Saturday. All right. So to me, this is my second Pasach, Chag, Matzah. But to a lot of brothers and sisters who think this is the first month and the first Pasach of the year, this is their first. Okay. But that's up for debate because there's a lot of brothers and sisters who also already celebrated their new year and their first Pasach, Matzah, Chag. So that's up for debate, But anyway, we're going to get it right. There's a huge discrepancy according to which time of the Hebraic month or year this is. And we're going to get it right, especially when Hamashiach returned to redeem his hopeful 1/3 elect, right? So I digress from that. So as we usually do, this is our representation of leaving Egypt, also known as Mizraim, right? So normally what we do, we will walk around the house, as a representation or an example of leaving Egypt, right? Usually I would have my household with me, but they said it's too late and they was a little bit tired after that Pasach meal, so to speak. So, they're all resting, right? So I said, I'll do this presentation myself. Okay, so as you can see here, we have our fire in the sky. That's what led the ancient Egypt, our forefathers, out of Mizraim during that time, you know, or Egypt, I should say. But before it was turned into Egypt, it was known as Mizraim. That's when the Nubian Cushites had control of their own land, right before Alexander, the so-called Greek, right, which was also a Canaanite, really. But before they came in and conquered the land of Mitzrayim, right, in which the Nubian Cushites had control over, they went to the children of Japhet's land, which is the children of Shittim, and they conquered those guys first, okay, which was known as the Greeks, all right, the children of Shittim. So the Canaanites went and conquered that land, and then they deemed themselves as Greeks after hijacking their culture, you know, or some people will call them culture vultures, right? So that's what they did first before they came down to Mizraim to conquer those guys when the ancient Israelites was in their land, because it was a famine in the land of Canaan. So the Most High told Jacob and his 11 sons at the time to go down to Mizraim and sojourn there. You know, that's when I am Hotep, or Yosef, was second in command in the land of Mizraim before the so-called Greeks, aka the Amorite Canaanites, came and conquered that land, okay, and turned it into Egypt, which is also known as bondage, or I should say synonymous with bondage, you know, when they conquered that land and enslaved our forefathers along with the Nubian Cushites all together. Okay, that's the reason why Moses had a Cushite wife. Okay, so this is what we normally do. We walk around the house, right? We got the fire in the sky guiding us through the wilderness, and which led us to the Red Sea before the Most High parted the Red Sea for Moses, for the children of Israel to escape from the Egyptians, which were the enslavers of our forefathers, the ancient Israelites, right? So, as we supposed to do, we ate our Pasach meal in haste with the staff in hand, as you can see here. This is the staff, okay, with our loins girded, as you can see, with the shoes on our feet. All right. So this is how we did it, y'all. And then the Most High sent his death angel over the land of Egypt to kill every firstborn of the Egyptians. Not the Israelites, the Egyptians, right? Some people get a little twisted, and they will say that when the Most High sent his judgment through the land of Egypt to judge the Egyptians and their false gods, he judged every single male that was in the land of Mizraim. That's not true. You know, he only judged the firstborn of the Egyptians who had us in captivity for 400 plus years in the land of Egypt. Okay? So that's what happened. So now we're in spiritual Egypt. Okay? This is spiritual Egypt that we're in. And we still must keep these ordinances according to the book of Exodus, chapter 12 and 13. The Most High tells us that we have to keep these ordinances throughout our generations forever. Okay? Forever, ever. Forever, ever. Yep. Forever, ever. This is what we're supposed to do, Yasharala. No matter if you're keeping the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, or you're not. This is what we're supposed to do, right? We're not supposed to be keeping communion. We're not supposed to be keeping 40 days of